internet friends, and welcome. Today we're gonna go back to my roots a little bit and do some Asian horror. Yes, for those of you who don't know, I once upon a time had a YouTube channel where I discussed Asian horror movies and posted a bunch of other embarrassing random shit that we shall never speak of ever again. So without further ado, here are 5 creepy Japanese urban myths. Right now, you might feel very safe sitting at home on your computer, but for the Japanese who encounter the Red Room, that isn't the case. The Red Room curse first appears as a pop-up that reads in Japanese text, "Do you like?" The pop-up is accompanied by a warped, childlike voice that reads the phrase out loud, "Do you like?" Annoyed, chances are you're going to click the X button in hopes of getting rid of the message, but the Red Room cannot be escaped once you've been chosen. The message reappears each time it is closed over and over, and as time goes on, the message begins to change. "Do you like" becomes "Do you like red?" The eerie voice plays over and over again, and despite your attempts to block the ad, nothing works. Then the warped voice speaks again, asking this time, "Do you like the Red Room?" Panicked, you again try to close out of the window, but the pop-up suddenly envelops your entire screen in red, and a list of names appears. And as you scan the list of names, you recognize several of them. Friends who were found dead in their homes with their rooms painted in their own blood. When you come to the bottom of the list, you see your own name. And the next morning, you're found in much the same state as your friends. The Red Room has claimed you. So while there isn't much information on this urban myth, it doesn't make the prospect of stumbling across the Red Room any less unnerving. Since the internet no longer provides safety and solace for you, you traverse into nature only to encounter the mysterious kune-kune, which might be the last thing you ever do. Kune-kune is a creature that can be encountered almost anywhere, mainly out in the countryside or out at sea, but it is occasionally seen in the city, but always from a distance. The name kune-kune translates to twisting or turning, and with a long, slender, white humanoid shape, it appears to just be doing that, rippling with motion even on windless nights. If you encounter a kune-kune, your best chance to survive is simply to ignore it. Walk away and it will leave you be. However, if curiosity gets the best of you, it's best not to look too closely or you'll likely go insane before succumbing to an untimely death. But get too near to a kune-kune or even accidentally brush against it, you will be its next victim. No one knows exactly what a kune-kune looks like up close, but would you really want to be the first one to risk it and find out? Walking the streets of Tokyo, you might feel safe from internet curses and countryside-dwelling spirits, but that doesn't mean you're ever safe from her. Known as Kuchisake Onna, she may appear innocent at first, donning a face mask, a common thing to see in Japan amongst those who are ill. But you'll soon find she's hiding much more than a disease under that mask. Kuchisake Onna, or the slit-mouthed woman, is one of the most well-known figures in Japanese urban lore. The wife of a samurai, it is said that she was once a very beautiful but very vain woman. Her husband found out that she had been unfaithful and cut her mouth ear to ear, giving her a permanent, grotesque grin as he asked her, "Who will think you are beautiful now?" Kuchisake Onna returned after death as a vengeful spirit and is said to stalk children or those traveling alone at night. Often appearing out of nowhere with the mask covering the lower half of her face, she will ask you, "Am I pretty?" Answer yes, and she will show you what's under that mask. Her smile, ear to ear, sliced wide open. Then she will ask you again, "Am I still pretty?" Say no, and you will die. Say yes, however, and she reveals a large pair of scissors, which she uses to mark you with a similar grotesque smile, so that you may be beautiful just like her. Unlike kune-kune or the Red Room, quick thinking might save you should you encounter Kuchisake Onna. If you answer her question with "you're average," it confuses her and she must ponder what to do, giving you enough time to escape. Other versions of the myth say if you tell her you are late for an appointment, she will apologize and excuse herself, allowing you to leave alive. You can bet, though, if you answer incorrectly, you won't be missing your meeting with the slit-mouthed woman. Staying indoors and away from the internet sounds like a good idea at this point. But even in your own home, you might not be safe from Futakuchi-onna. Futakuchi-onna, or the two-mouthed woman, isn't a specific woman, but a curse that can befall any woman, where a second large mouth will appear on the back of her head, lips, tongue, teeth, and all. Unfortunately for you, Futakuchi-onna appears completely normal at first. The only warning sign you might have is if she never or rarely eats, but you find your food supply slowly dwindling. The normal face of the Futakuchi-onna never consumes any food, while the grotesque and large mouth found on the back of its head consumes twice as much when no one is looking. Over time, the mouth can develop a conscience and will begin to whisper threats and insults at the woman until it is fed, and its appetite is ravenous. If not fed, it will screech and cause its victim immense pain. It is said that eventually the Futakuchi-onna can use its hair as appendages in order to gorge itself on any nearby food. There are stories of this curse befalling women who let stepchildren die in order to feed their own offspring. Perhaps the curse is a result of a vengeful spirit. Though there is also the story of a man who, while cutting wood, accidentally swung his axe the wrong way and ended up embedding the blade in the back of his wife's head. The woman survived, but the open wound never healed, and instead formed a mouth, growing teeth, and a tongue. So it seems no one is truly safe from this curse. Though the Futakuchi-onna's ravenous mouth has never known to hunger for human flesh, I wouldn't want to be the first to find out. Our final myth may haunt the only safe haven you have left now, your dreams. Or rather, your nightmares. He is called Tenome, meaning eyes on hands. If that sounds familiar to you, you may recall a fiendish creature known as the Pale Man, who made an appearance in the 2006 film Pan's Labyrinth. Yes, the Pale Man was inspired by the Japanese legend of Tenome. The story goes that long ago there was a blind man beaten to death by robbers, and his final words were, "If only I had eyes that worked, even if on the palms of my hands." The rage-filled state in which the blind man died in allowed him to be resurrected as a vengeful spirit with, you guessed it, eyes on his hands instead of his face. Tenome is able to see by holding his hands out in front of him and has a very powerful sense of smell. He wanders cities, graveyards, and villages searching for his killers. However, since he never saw the faces of his murderers, he kills anyone who crosses his path. Legend has it there was a young man one night who wandered through a cemetery to prove his bravery to his friends. The young man was approached by a blind old man. However, as he got closer, the boy saw that the old man had eyes on his hands. Terrified, he ran to a nearby temple and asked a priest inside for shelter. The priest quickly hid the boy in a chest and hid himself nearby. The two listened to the sound of Tenome stalking closer and closer. Then the strange sound of sucking and slurping filled the temple, and eventually, over the hours of the night, vanished. The next morning, the priest came out of hiding to let the boy out of the chest, only to find the only thing left of him was his limp, saggy skin. The Tenome had sucked all of the blood and bones out of the boy's body. Feel free to test your own courage and seek out this monster, but by the time you're close enough to recognize it as a Tenome, chances are it's too late to escape. And though these may just be urban myths, that doesn't make them any less terrifying when they haunt your nightmares. So just remember, friends, when you think you're safe, always think again. I hope you enjoyed this little dose of creepy, and if you did, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. If you want to stick around for more creepy or fun videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button in the corner, and you can also follow me on social media. I have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and Tumblr. Thank you all for supporting this channel. We just hit over 530 subscribers, and I honestly can't tell you what that means to me. And it's all because of you guys. So thank you sincerely from the bottom of my cold, dead heart. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. Number 4, Wendigo psychosis. This time you wake up and you're not dead, but you have an insatiable appetite for human flesh.